She told me I can get first pick of the litter.
No, that didn't happen. The family
That's a
member is
lie.
actual.
That is a lie.
Hang on, man.
You may have a case that that dog really belongs to you.
Plaintiff Angela Guilford claims the defendant agreed to give her pick of the litter when their two dogs mated, but the puppy she loved was given to someone else. She's suing for $4,000. Defendant Mary Lawrence says they never had an agreement, and the plaintiff is barking up the wrong tree. She says
raise your right hand.
she owes nothing.
Swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. The Honorable Judge Jerry Springer now presiding. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Najee. How are you?
I'm doing well, Judge. Thank you.
Good.
This is case number 032 on the docket, Guilford versus Lawrence.
Let's see what we have here. We have the plaintiff, Angela Guilford.
Yes, sir.
You are suing the defendant, Mary Lawrence.
Yes.
For $4,000 for the breach of contract. Go ahead.
Okay, good morning, Your Honor. First of all, the defendant and I had an agreement that I would mate my dog with hers and I would get first pick of the litter. Okay, upon me asking for first pick of the litter, first of all, I went to her house. I delivered my dog to be mated. It wasn't at her house, it was at a mutual friend's house. When I dropped my dog off—
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a Shih Tzu.
You have a Shih Tzu, and the male dog?
Yes, he's a male. His name is Lucky. I've had him ever since he was 8 weeks old.
Oh, okay.
I bought him, and his name became Lucky because I had won a scratch off. I won $1,000. I went and purchased my dog. The same day that I purchased my dog, I went to the lottery office, picked up my money, stopped by, and picked him up. So I've had him since he was 8 weeks old. Okay, upon the mating of the dogs, a mutual friend of ours said something about the dogs being mated. I told her, okay, I would mate my dog with him because I have been looking for a female to mate him with anyway. So I take my dog to the mutual friend's house to be mated. I left him there overnight, 2 nights, picked him up.
Okay, so
None of this is true.
I'm going to give you a chance.
Oh.
So you're saying you brought your dog over to a friend's house
A mutual friend's house.
and left the dog there for a couple of nights, 1 night, 2 nights, whatever.
To be mated.
To be mated with the defendant's dog.
With the defendant's dog,
Okay,
right.
so you weren't there when the mating took place?
No, I wasn't there when the mating took place.
I was.
You're sure the mating took place?
I'm positive the mating took place.
And how do you know that?
Because the mutual friend that was watching them at the time told me that it happened 4 times within 1 night. They
man.
got stuck together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have film of my dog being picked up from over there at the house.
Yeah?
From being mated. Yes.
And what do you mean?
He was very tired.
The dog was tired?
Yes.
I believe there's a...
Yeah, I have a video.
Let
of
me
it.
see a picture of your exhausted dog.
He's
Oh,
tired.
he's just...
He done been out working all night. Look at him. He tired. Come on, Lucky.
Oh,
What?
See?
I mean, 4 times.
Leave my baby alone.
It's impressive.
I wasn't there.
That's you know, whatever happens in this case, hats off
She
to
was
the
not
dog.
there.
Yeah.
She wasn't there when I picked my dog up.
No, she didn't drop the dog off.
Yes, I did. I
No.
brought my dog in there and I dropped him off.
No,
Me
she
and
didn't.
my family member dropped the dog off over there. And
That's
I'm
not
the one
true.
that went and picked my dog up.
And what was the agreement?
That I would take my dog over there and mate it with hers.
I never had an agreement with her.
You're suing for $4,000.
Listen, because in
She
the
don't
end,
ha-
when I went and talked to her after the dogs had been born,
Yeah?
I picked the dog
That's
that I
when
wanted.
I found out about her after the
I
dog was
picked
born.
no, you knew about me all the time. I picked the dog
Not to be the owner
that
of the
I
dog.
I'm going to
wanted.
get you. I'm going to get you.
I'm the owner. I picked the dog
That
that I
ain't got
wanted
nothing
out
to
of the
do with the
litter
agreement.
when I
Hang
went
on,
to
man.
her house.
Hang on.
I picked the dog out of the litter that I wanted, which
No.
was a black and white female.
Okay, did she ever say to you you could have whatever dog you wanted in the litter?
She told me I can get first pick of the litter.
She
I
told...
told the
'Cause
person I
asked
had the
her-
agreement with
asked
she could
her
get the first pick.
for-
And she purchased the
I
dog.
asked her for money for the mating of the dog. She told me I couldn't get
Stud
that.
fee.
The only thing that I could get was a first pick. I say, okay, if I could get first pick, then I want the black and white puppy. Okay? That was agreed upon.
No.
Then after that was agreed upon, later on when I asked her about when will the dogs be released, she asked me, did I talk to the family member? I politely
Because
left my
they
house
don't-
right
they
then.
wasn't
Hang on,
I'm
man.
talking.
Hang on, man.
Okay.
And they
I'm
wasn't
Ma'am,
in
talking.
agreement.
stop
I'm
speaking.
talking.
Hang on.
I politely went to my family member's house and I told her, how can you make a decision on my dog when I told you that I wanted a female
That's who
out
she
of the
should be
litter?
suing.
I'm talking.
Who'd you say
That's
that
who
to,
she
your
should be
friend
suing.
or
My
her?
family member. And then after I talked to her, I took my dog, had my dog mated with hers. After the dogs mated, I went to her house. Me and a family member of mine went to her house. The dogs was in a cage.
Yeah.
I told her I wanted the black and white girl.
Okay.
No,
Because
that
I
didn't
already
happen.
got a boy. You lying. I already got a boy. But then later on when I text her and I asked her, because I knew it was getting time for the dogs to be released from their mom,
Yeah.
she tells me she had to take the dogs to have their shots. Okay, you got to take the dogs to have their shots. But in the meantime, she still tells me my daughter wants the black and white one. How can you give your daughter the black and white one when you and I have already agreed on that I would
Okay,
get that one
now
for
I
the first
wanna
pick
hear
of the
her
litter?
So,
What happened?
so what happened
From
was
the
I was
beginning.
at a friend of mine's house, and
Yes.
my dog goes there a lot.
Yeah.
So we and her were having a conversation, and she also had her family member that was also there.
Yeah.
And I said, we were having a conversation. I said I wanted to mate my dog, and she's in heat. So her family member said, I have the same kind of Shih Tzu. So I can drop him off, and they can mate. And she said, I just want a dog. And I was like, that's fine with me. Yes, let's do it. So the next day, the dog was dropped off by her family member.
The dog was dropped off by
Had you,
me.
okay,
The dog was dropped off by her family member.
so you had not yet met her?
No. So after the dog was dropped off, they didn't make that initial day. The next day I went over there.
lying.
They were
He was
actually,
lying.
I was there having a conversation with my
was
friend
Yeah.
who actually didn't want the dogs to mate. She didn't want my dog to get pregnant. She felt like she was too old. So I was talking to her, and she said, oh my God, they stuck. And they were stuck.
Oh, so that's how you knew they had, it wasn't like, you know, the male dog afterwards just, they had a cigarette or something.
I knew it was going to happen
It
because it was
was-
his first
yeah.
time. I knew it
Go
was going
ahead.
to happen.
Okay, yeah.
So, you know, they made it, and I left my dog there that night.
Yeah.
And they apparently got stuck multiple times. Throughout the process, she did come around, but I didn't know who she was. I thought they all lived in the same house. And actually, in the evidence, it states that the dog lived with her family member.
So, okay,
So,
on
and
that,
That dog
and
lives
from
at
my
my house.
understanding, the dog lived there for over 5 years, and the family
That's a
member is
lie.
actually
That is a
the
lie.
one
Hang
who
on,
take
man.
care of the dog, who get the dog haircut, take it to the vet, all
They're
that
lying.
type of stuff. It's
They
not
lying.
her. So,
And they're
Okay.
lying.
So
to
what
my
I-
understanding, she had nothing to do with the dog.
You was a lie.
I didn't know nothing
That's a
about
lie.
her.
okay, what you're saying,
that's a
okay,
lie.
And my agreement wasn't with her. My agreement was with her family
Okay,
member.
that's
who
what I wanna
said,
know.
You get the pick of the litter.
your agreement was with this mutual friend.
right.
You had not yet met her.
No.
Is that what you're saying
That's
under
what I'm
oath?
saying.
You
She
hadn't
is
yet
lying.
met her
She is
when the deal
lying.
was made.
I hadn't
Straight
discussed. I
lying.
don't
Do
know
you-
nothing.
okay.
Didn't know nothing about her. at the
You're
time.
saying you did meet her and have that conversation before the dogs ever made it. Just answer that question.
Yes.
No.
I met her at the mutual friend's house.
Was this before the dogs ever made it?
Okay.
Was
No.
the agreement
Ma'am, stop
made
interrupting the
from
judge.
her to you, not through your friend or your family member? She spoke to you, and you two agreed that they would mate, and you could have the pick of the litter. I want to know, where is the agreement between you two, not
We
your
had a
friend?
verbal agreement.
It was
Her-
verbal.
Yes.
And
Her and I talked in text messages on the phone about the
Before-
dog. Before the dogs were even born.
Obviously, before the dogs were born. I'm saying before she agreed
Right.
to have the dogs mate, did she say to you, I will let your dog mate with my dog, and I will let you have the pick of the litter?
Her and I never talked.
Well, that is the
I talked to the mutual friend was the one that I
Right.
talked to.
Who you should be suing.
okay,
I'm
right.
suing you because you're the one that got the dogs. You're the one that sold them.
Okay.
That's why
I
I'm
had to
suing
what
you.
we're dealing
I'm
with
suing
here-
you.
What
She
we're
mad.
dealing
She
with
crazy
here
lady.
is so
Lady, you
far,
better hush.
the only thing we know is that the deal for letting your dog mate with her dog,
I would get first pick of the litter.
I understand that, but if there's a deal on that, all that discussion wasn't made with you, it was made with a mutual friend. So you may very well have an argument or have a case with your mutual friend. But as far as she knows, at that time, you weren't in the picture. There would be no way of her knowing.
She knew.
There's no proof that she knew. Show me what the deal was. Show me a text that took place.
I couldn't get my
before the
text
mating
messages
took
out of my
place.
phone where her and I
I'm
were
sorry
talking
that this
about the
mutual
dogs.
friend is not here.
No, her
because
and I talked about Judge.
that
Jerry,
was after. I'm asking you.
This is before the dogs were born.
I understand it was before. I'm saying before the dogs were mated. You're admitting to me, as she's saying, that you two hadn't yet met or talked about this. In other words, if you didn't personally make the deal with her, if you made it through this mutual friend or family member, then the only legal liability, the legal connection, is between this mutual friend or family member and her.
Her and I talked in text messages, and
Where is, okay,
she
show
knew
me,
that that dog was mine. She knew it.
okay, but
And
where
she
didn't.
chose to go override what
No,
her and I
that
had
didn't
agreed
happen.
on. Yes, you did. Her and I had agreed on it in text messages that I would get first pick of the litter. She wasn't going to give me
I said-
no price for the
I
sperm,
thought they were
but
all
she
living
would
in
give
the
me
same
first pick of the
household.
litter.
I thought they
Show
all
me
lived
the
the same.
text.
The text say that
I
the
couldn't
dogs
get the
lived
text
with
messages out
her
my phone
family
because my
member.
screen's frozen.
Exhibit C, it says that the dogs live with her family member.
No, they don't. That dog lived where he always been. I
It
used
says
to
it
live.
in the text message.
I
On
used to
Exhibit C, the
live
dog
in
lived
the
with her
house
family.
with the
Right,
family
so they
member.
all lived in the
I-
same house.
All
I
right,
can't hear
all right.
both of you.
I got evidence
Ma'am,
right
the
here
judge
to
is
show.
speaking now.
Ev-
You're not
exhibit.
speaking now, ma'am. The judge is talking.
Where is the text
On
message
C.
you're referring to, and then I'll come to you.
On C, the fourth text down, after I realized that they were not in agreement on who was out of the household was getting the pick of the litter, I let her know that she is not to get the pick of the litter because, to my understanding, she is not who I made an agreement with, and she was not the owner of the dog.
Okay, well, if you look
to
at
my
exhibit-
understanding, the family member was the owner
Judge,
of the dog.
look at Exhibit A. In my evidence, it's the shot records of my dog.
That has
So
nothing
you
to do
still
with
ha-
that has nothing
on,
to do
hang
with
on
the
now.
agreement.
Judge Jerry,
Yes.
I was, okay, it came to me that if I agreed on it, mating my dog, that I would get first pick of the litter. Okay?
That ain't got nothing to do with me.
agree. I'm talking. I didn't interrupt you. Don't interrupt me. I
You ain't the
agreed
judge.
upon the first pick of the litter because I asked for money for the sperm. She told me, you can't get no money for the sperm, but you can have first pick of the litter. I said, okay, I want the black and white dog, the female, because I have a male. Okay? That's between her and I that I'm having this discussion with.
When did that discussion take place? That's all
It
I'm
took
saying.
place-
After they made it, after the agreement was made with the family member.
April, after the dogs were born, I went over to her house.
I get that. But if this agreement
You a lie.
between you two,
And then you tell me your daughter wanted it.
That's in the text. It wasn't at my house.
if this agreement between you...
I didn't come to your house?
Ma'am, the
Hello.
judge is speaking.
I'm not doubting that you went to her house. I'm not doubting that you had indicated what you wanted, all of that. The legal issue is, before the mating took place, did you have a personal conversation?
I didn't
Did
talk
you
to her.
have texts, something to show me that she understood that the deal was that if she agrees to the mating, that you would get the pick of the litter or $4,000. I need evidence of that. And if I don't have that, I have no other decision
Okay,
to
I
make.
don't have the text messages because I couldn't get them out my phone because the screen's broke.
Yeah.
But I have I did
have
have
mine.
some of her and I discussing. When I asked her for money for the sperm, she told me I couldn't get that, but I could get first pick of the litter.
You have an argument, and unfortunately, those people aren't here that...
They didn't want to show up because they didn't want to be in the middle of her mess.
Okay, but
You brought me
in
to court.
fairness,
I sure did.
You're
your
gonna lose.
your case right now is with them. Because if they got,
It don't matter.
okay, if they got the pick of the litter,
Which they
then
did.
you may have an argument that
They got 2 puppies.
okay,
purchased
that may
one.
be,
She say they purchased. I don't
I have
believe her.
evidence.
okay, what I'm saying is, you may have a case that that dog really belongs to you. I'm not saying you don't have a remedy here, but I'm saying unless there is evidence that you two made the deal, not through anybody else, just you two, and based on that, I have to dismiss the case.
That's fine.
I knew I didn't make an agreement with her, so she didn't have a case.
Something's going to be done because I don't feel like I was treated fair from her or the family members.
Yeah, I just knew I was gonna win, and I probably should have been a lawyer.
I wanted memories, and they took that from me, but it's okay. God has a way of fixing everything.
Hey, YouTube, thanks for watching. For more Judge Jerry, click here. For more Jerry Springer, click here.